Hey everyone, Dennis K here. Hope you're doing well today. Hey, listen, I'm just kind of go over some of our numbers. Um, I just reached the age of 54 this year, and as such, we're looking forward to what the future is going to bring in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years as far as our finances go and as far as retirement goes. And a lot of my clients who I've been jumping on Zoom calls with are also getting near that retirement age and looking at the money they have coming in, their investments and sort of thinking about how things are going to pan out as they move into retirement, especially with inflation, the rising cost of living in many parts of the world. So, what I wanted to do is just spend a few minutes, and this is going to be a very impromptu video. And I just want to go over some of the numbers with you guys as it applies to, for example, living in the United States compared to moving abroad and living in other countries as it applies strictly to the cost of living. So I know there's lots of reasons to move abroad. There's lifestyle, there's climate, there's a host of reasons. But in this video, I want to focus a little bit on the rising cost of goods and services and inflation and how maybe considering a move to Belize might really benefit you as you look at extending the funds that you're going to have available for your enjoyment, for your lifestyle as it applies to the future, moving on into the retirement phase of your life. So let me just share with you a slide that I pulled up from Investopedia. These are the areas that go into inflation. And I'm not an expert on this topic at all. So some of you guys are going to be like, Dennis, that's wrong. This is wrong. I get it. All right. I'm not an expert at all. But what I'm going to look at is these types of cost that are usually in a person's life that need to be paid for in some way, shape, or form. And think about if you stay where you're at now, wherever you may be living now, could be Europe, could be the United States, Canada. You look at each of those and you ask yourself, in my budget, how much are each of those things costing me per year? And could I live in an area that would bring more happiness, more enjoyment at a much lower cost? So, for example, look at the one right here, housing. All right, so housing right now in the States, uh, it's bigger. It's a lot more maintenance than it would cost in Belize, that's for sure. I was talking to my dad the other day and my brother, and sometimes the funds they put into maintaining their home, I think, oh my goodness, new water heaters, new roofs on the roof, new carpet, taking care of the lawn care, snow removal, all that kind of stuff. So, not to mention property taxes, the rising cost of housing in the United States. That is a major, major cost for a lot of my potential clients. Apparel, all right. If you live anywhere in the United States or Canada where you have the four seasons, you can be sure that apparel is much needed. But you do have the spring, summer, winter, fall wardrobe, and we know clothing prices are going up. But in addition to that, US is caught up in that, I don't know, disposable apparel where, you wear something for a season or something is good for a year or two. And then even though it's perfectly fine, you feel the need, either whether it's self-imposed pressure or peer pressure to upgrade or buy something new just for getting something new sake. In Belize, we don't really have that issue. Nobody cares what you wear. I like it. You can go to a construction guys. You can see these hardworking construction guys wearing like, old Barbie t-shirts, New Kids on the Block t-shirts that they got at the local secondhand shop. So nobody cares what you wear. And the most of the time, you're just going to be wearing your bathing suit and t-shirts and flip-flops anyway. So I would think that you're going to save a lot of money on your apparel. Now, transportation, when I look at transportation, definitely flights have gone up. So if you're considering a country that is pretty far from the US, for example, if you're looking to retire, say in Spain or Portugal, which also have a very good cost of living, or maybe go somewhere tropical like Bali, those flights to and from the United States have gone up significantly, sometimes double or triple. So you got to take that into consideration. Whereas Belize, even though flights have gone up a little bit, they're very short haul flights. All right. And with more and more flights coming into the country of Belize and new airports going to be added, making it easier to get around the country, I don't think transportation is going to go up a tremendous amount in value when it comes to getting to and from the country of Belize. But even in Belize, all right, in the United States right now, if you add up your car payment, car insurance, gas, repairs, parking, all that kind of good stuff, it is a major expense. Whereas when you move to Belize, if you live in the islands, in Ambergris Caye, you drive a golf cart. All right, you got your one-time cost of buying your new cart or your used cart. That's done. Repairs are extremely inexpensive, and you don't put much gas in your gas golf cart per week. So I think you're going to save a lot of money there. Education and communication. All right. Communication, I think about terms of cell phones, things like that, a lot cheaper than the US. Education, that doesn't really apply because it's hard to compare apples to apples on that one. Yeah, I'm going to leave education alone, but you can do your own research on that. Recreation, all right, that's something that's gone up quite a bit of value, or is quite a bit in the United States, is recreation. You got your gym memberships, you have, going out to the movies, you have other things like that, you have boating, camping, all that kind of good stuff. All right, you might not have those options in Belize, or as many options, but I think what you will find is that the recreation in Belize just tends to cost less based on the nature of the recreation. And of course, that depends on what you're doing too. I mean, as an example, if you're into boating in the United States, I would say boating in the US is a lot more expensive than boating in Belize, just adding up all the costs involved. Gym memberships are a lot cheaper in Belize. What kind of things do people do? Anyways, think about your own recreation, what you do on a monthly or yearly basis, and see how Belize compares to where you live. Now, medical care, that's a big one. All right, medical care in the States, absolutely insanely priced with insurance and medical care and doctor's visits and prescriptions. You can get health care in Belize, or I should say health insurance in Belize, and it's a lot less than what you would pay in the United States. And the medical care is very good. Not only is it very good at the private hospitals in Belize City, but new hospitals are coming to San Pedro. So you're going to get excellent world-class care there as well. And then finally, you got your food and beverages. All right. So in the United States, we have a lot of processed food. Even just going out to McDonald's these days in the States for an average family is quite a bit. You compare that to little roadside food stands in Belize, getting, breakfast tacos or burritos, fried jack, salbutes, all that kind of good stuff. Your average cost for those items is quite low. So when you look at all those things, when it comes to, the rising cost of living, you can stay where you're at and simply continue to pay more and more and more, or you can move to another country that you want to, not just because of the cost of living. I think you should live where you find the most enjoyment in life. But when you look at Belize and go line item by line item, when you look at housing cost, transportation cost, clothing, food, healthcare. Now, here's the big one, taxes. All right. So if you're living in the United States right now, you're paying the most taxes, depending on your state. You're paying state tax, you're paying federal tax. When you move to Belize, you still need to pay US taxes. But for example, if you're running your business online and you're making your money online in Belize, then you are allowed to file forms differently to pay US taxes than you would if you're living inside the US. So I think it's a F55 form. I got to get the right form here. F555. It's the expat tax form. I'll put it in the video description below. But if you do that, then most likely you're not going to be paying any state tax, and you can make up to, I think it's around 110,000 per person and not pay any federal tax. So you just have to pay some business tax and Social Security, but that's going to be a lot lower as well. So think about it, your major cost in life you can greatly reduce, sometimes even eliminate, simply by moving from the United States to a country like Belize, and you get all the other benefits as well of moving to a country like Belize, like tropical weather, friendly people, all those kind of things that I talk about in my videos. So hope this helps. Just gives you things to think about. So what I would do, here's an assignment for you. Take out a piece of paper, a notebook, and kind of like write down your budget, or if you have a budget on Excel spreadsheet, look at it line item by line item, and they go, what am I paying for my car? For the repairs, for the payment, gas, oil changes, tires, all the kind of good stuff, insurance. And then if I move to Belize, if I move to the islands, it's a golf cart. All right, a lot less. If it's the mainland, sure, you still have to have a car, right? But the expense is still going to be a lot less. Go through your healthcare cost, go through your recreation cost, go through your clothing allowance, even go through your food budget. So, for example, right now, if you're going to the Sam's Club or Costco's or local grocery stores, your Myers, look at your average cost for food items, especially food items when it comes to prepared food, which can be a lot more these days. I know I get sticker shock every time I set foot back in the States and I go through and I even buy just, prepared food in the frozen section of grocery store. They go, wow, this has really gone up since I left 20 years ago. And then you go to Belize. Well, first of all, you don't have those options for the most part. You don't have those high expensive prepared foods, but you compare that with local foods, fruits, vegetables, meats that you buy, everything that is either grown or produced locally in the country, and you're going to see that your food cost alone not only going to be a lot less, but also a lot more healthy for you. All right. So you look at all those costs, think to yourself, what am I doing in the United States? Come on, man. Let's move to Belize. I can help with that. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Share this with anybody you feel might be interested. I'll put my email address in the description below. Take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.